All right, welcome. Today we're diving into something that affects millions of people, but is just so misunderstood. We're about to uncover a surprising, totally game-changing secret to pelvic floor health, and I promise you, it goes way beyond the usual advice you've heard 1,000 times. So, have you ever dealt with that little leak when you sneeze or cough, or maybe when you're jumping around? Chances are, somebody, somewhere, told you the same thing. Oh, you just need to do more Kegels. It's become the default go-to answer for pretty much everything. But what if I told you that for a whole lot of people, the key isn't squeezing harder at all? What if it's actually about learning how to completely let go? Yep, the real secret weapon, the skill you might be missing, is all about relaxation, or as the pros call it, downtraining. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we're going to bust the Kegel myth wide open. Then, we'll get real about why this is such a huge unspoken problem. After that, we'll discover the incredible power of letting go, learn how you can literally breathe your way stronger, and finally, check out how training is getting a massive high-tech upgrade. Okay, let's get right into it. Look, Kegels are famous for a reason. They definitely have their place. But here's the thing. They are only one half of the puzzle for a truly healthy, functional pelvic floor. And here's the first problem. Even if Kegels were the only answer, get this, studies show that almost a third of women aren't even sure if they're activating the right muscles. That fact alone tells you that just squeeze harder is, well, it's just not good enough advice.
So, why are we talking about this? Why does this matter so much? Because these issues affect people's quality of life on a massive scale, but we're all so quiet about it. It's time to understand the scale and the silence.
So let's be super clear on what we're actually talking about. The pelvic floor isn't just a single muscle. No way. It's this complex, incredible system of muscles and ligaments. Think of it like a smart, supportive hammock holding up all your core pelvic organs. And when that support system gets compromised, the effects can be huge. Just look at this number. Around 50% of women who have given birth experience some form of uterovaginal prolapse. 50%. That is an absolutely staggering statistic. And even though it's so common, there's an average delay of 7 years before someone seeks help. 7 years! And why? It's this toxic mix of social taboos, a little bit of embarrassment, and just a general lack of awareness that these things are actually fixable.
This is why we need a totally new mindset. You have to hear this. These issues are not just some inevitable part of getting older or having kids. As the experts at Pelvic Coach put it so perfectly, they are preventable. And they are treatable.
All right, now we're getting to the absolute heart of this explainer. We always assume the problem is weakness, right? But so often, the real culprit is a muscle that's too tense, what specialists call an overactive or hypertonic muscle.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting and kind of confusing for people. We all know an underactive or weak floor can cause leaks. But check this out. A hidden cause of the exact same symptoms, leaks, urgency, pain, is an overactive floor. A muscle that's clenched too tight is just as dysfunctional as one that's too weak.
In fact, a pelvic floor that's too tense can cause a whole list of problems you might never connect to it. That feeling like you have to pee all the time, not being able to fully empty your bladder, chronic pain, painful sex, even constipation. Yup, it could all be linked back to this. The big idea here is something called resting tone. Think of it like this. A bicep that's permanently flexed isn't strong. It's just stuck. It's exhausted. It's the same thing here. A truly healthy muscle needs a low resting tone. It needs to know how to fully chill out so it has the full range to contract powerfully when you actually need it to. So, the big question is, how on earth do you teach these deep internal muscles to relax? Well, it turns out you have this incredible, powerful tool already built right in, your breath. Your main breathing muscle, the diaphragm, and your pelvic floor are designed to be dance partners. It's this really beautiful, simple rhythm. When you take a deep breath in, your diaphragm lowers, and that sends a signal to your pelvic floor to also gently descend and relax. Then, as you breathe out, your diaphragm lifts back up, and your pelvic floor naturally recoils and gently engages. That simple movement is the foundation of downtraining. So the main point, the thing to really remember, is this. The goal is not a muscle that's clenched and tight all the time. The goal is a smart, responsive, dynamic muscle that knows when to fire up, when to hold steady, and, just as important, when to completely let go.
Now, trying to master this all on your own can feel a bit like shooting in the dark, but this is where modern tech is changing everything, making this sophisticated training something you can actually do, right from the comfort of your home.
The new toolkit is just incredible. We're talking devices that use biofeedback, so you can literally see your muscle activity on a screen in real time. No more guessing. They use things like manometry to objectively measure your muscle pressure and strength. They even use gamification to turn exercises into fun challenges on an app and can connect you with expert coaches remotely. And this just shows you how far we've come. It's not about just doing a Kegel anymore. Now, there are comprehensive tests that can assess your strength, your endurance, your speed, your control, and that all-important piece of the puzzle, your ability to fully relax. This quote from the Intima Fitness clinical framework really just nails it. It perfectly wraps up our big idea for today. Proper relaxation isn't just a nice-to-have, it is just as critical as the contraction itself. So I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. Is your pelvic floor actually strong and responsive, or is it just stuck? Because knowing the difference could be the first step to a whole new world of health and well-being. Thanks for tuning in to this explainer.